call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Aleksandar Volkov takes on Jailton Almeida this Saturday on the main card of UFC 321. And this is your quintessential striker versus grappler matchup. Volkov coming into this fight off of a split decision loss to Ciryl Gane in a fight that we can all agree that he won. Before that, he was on a 4-fight winning streak over really good competition. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Aleksandar Romanov, Tai Tuivasa, maybe not the greatest competition, but Sergey Pavlovich, Jairzinho Rozenstruik had a win over Marcin Tybura before his loss to Tom Aspinall. So he's looked really good as of late, and he looked really good in that fight against Ciryl Gane in that absolute robbery that we had to sit through. Jailton Almeida on a 2-fight winning streak ever since he got kind of fraud checked by Curtis Blaydes in their fight. Beat Aleksandar Romanov and then Sergey Spivak after that. And this is a big test. This is a big test for Volkov to see if he can keep it on the feet, where he's definitely the better striker. And for Jailton Almeida, if he can get this one to the ground against a huge guy in Aleksandar Volkov, who's dangerous on the feet, has had decent takedown defense in the past, but not the greatest. But, you know, Volkov, tallest guy in the UFC at 6'7". He's 36 years old, so getting up there in age, but, you know, 38-11, tons of experience, big guy, you know, jiu-jitsu brown belt, kind of a Kyokushin karate, kickboxing type of guy, former Russian kickboxing champion, so very technical, long-range striker, really good kicks, really good knees, kind of that classic Dutch kickboxing style, taking on Jailton Almeida, who excellent grappling, good takedowns, has shown improved striking in his last fight, and great control on the ground. Really good submission ability to find the chokes and find the finishes once he gets guys to the ground. So the question here obviously is can Volkov keep it on the feet, and can Jailton Almeida get it to the ground? And I don't think he can. You know, Jailton Almeida, he showed some slick striking in his last fight against Sergey Spivak. You know, feinting, opening up with powerful combos, good leg kicks, had that slick counter right hand over Spivak's jab to hurt him. Volkov will be 4 inches taller in this one, 20 pounds heavier. You know, like I said, he's looked great as of late, but he can be out-grappled. And like I said, 36 years old, like what type of improvements is he going to be making in the wrestling department or overall at 36 years old? You know, is he going to be making the improvements that I think that he needs to make within that time frame in order to beat a specialist like Almeida? I just don't think that he will, you know. Gane shot a double leg on him and got it. I think he got another takedown in round 2 in his most recent fight, so I don't think that Ciryl Gane is as good of a grappler as Almeida. I think you all would agree with me on that, and so I think that if he's getting the takedowns, then I think that Almeida will too. And you could argue that, you know, Ciryl Gane is getting those because he's hiding it behind his striking. He's setting it up with his footwork, his feints, and, you know, threatening with his strikes in order to get his takedowns. But like I said, Jailton Almeida has, you know, shown improved striking and his ability to use those improvements to better set up his takedowns. Aspinall was able to trip Volkov in the clinch, get him down. Was able to duck under his strikes, get a double leg after that, and then get the finish. So I hate doing MMA math, but Curtis Blaydes got Volkov down 14 times in their fight, and Almeida was manhandling Curtis Blaydes with like 9 takedowns in the first round of that fight before he got TKO'd with elbows, I think it was, when he was shooting for a takedown. So Volkov been subbed 3 times, can be controlled on the ground, and I think that he's there to be shot on when he's on the feet. You know, he's very forward and aggressive, kind of stands right in front of his opponents at times. I think he relies on his height and his reach defensively rather than kind of using his footwork to stay out of trouble. And I just think Almeida will time his strikes, get under for his takedowns. Gane was in winning positions on the ground but gave them up just because he's got low IQ in the grappling scenarios. And I just feel like, you know, if Almeida gets to those positions, he's not giving up those positions and he's going to capitalize on them. And I just think over 3 rounds, he can keep up the grappling pressure enough to, you know, get the takedowns, land some ground and pound, and find the winning submission. So I'm going to go with Jailton Almeida in this one. I think he gets this one done. I think he gets the finish over Volkov. Thanks.